everybody. This is Armida, and I am back with another session for Give to Get. Today, our session, it's a life mastery session, and it's titled "How to Get Purpose Around, How to Get Clarity Around Your Purpose." So with that being said, for those of you who are tuning in for the first time to one of my trainings, I am a life and relationship coach for Give to Get, but also for Divine Growth Coaching. It's my own coaching business. And the reason why I became a coach is because I had my own transformation. I had my own struggles, and I had to deal with my own dark, shadow side, and not deal with it, incorporate it into my daily life, right? Because I think sometimes we experience things and we resist the pieces of us that we believe are not good enough, right? For whatever reason that is. There's so many different reasons. And if I go into details about them, we'll be here all night. But it was learning to really connect to myself unconditionally. I believe that we all experience some sort of childhood trauma that dictates how our life goes. And sometimes we think that childhood trauma has to be something that's huge, right? But we don't understand that when we're little, when you're 4 years old and you go to your parent and ask, you need reassurance at that moment, but maybe your parents are busy cooking or working and they can't give you attention at that in that second, and they kind of dismiss your feelings. That can cause you to tell yourself a story subconsciously because you don't have all the tools, that you're not good enough. And after I had healed a lot of my wounds and I started coaching people, I noticed that common theme around people, that we all have different issues we're struggling with. They're similar yet different, but at the end of it, it's just we feel like we're not good enough because we have, we believe we've experienced stuff that has led us to believe, and sometimes we have been really abandoned, whether physically, emotionally as kids, or we've experienced stuff that has led us to disconnect from ourselves because that's a way of us surviving at that moment. But then, and because we don't have other tools to deal with that, then we grow up to functioning to be adults who haven't healed that trauma, and every time we're getting triggered and any a person or a situation is reminding us of that time, we revert back to that wounded child, and we perceive that the world is not safe, and we go into fight or flight mode instead of allowing emotions to process through us. And so that's something that I learned in my journey, and in my transformation, my journey. And as I'm coaching clients, I'm finding so much similarity and so much differences yet similarities into that way of being. But anyways, just wanted to give you a little bit of history of why I am who I am, why I'm here. I had my own transformation, which propelled me to do the work that I'm doing today. I believe my purpose work, I know I had never thought I would ever be a coach, but my purpose work was born out of my own transformation, because after I did the work and I healed the pain and I changed my perspectives and I forgave the past, and I was able to create a future for myself. And from that, coaching was born, because it was like the next logical thing. Like, oh my gosh, I was in so much pain. I was giving my power away to other people, and it put me in the situation where I felt lonely, I felt stuck, I felt powerless, I felt bored, I felt like life was against me. And when I healed all of that and realized that life is really working through me and trying to provide for me all of my needs, it's just I couldn't see it because of all the things that had holding me back, all the illusions, everything that was holding me down. It was a no-brainer. Like, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. I want to show people to feel this connection to self, because that's what it is. We disconnect from ourselves to survive, and then we don't learn. We grow up very disconnected from ourselves, from our environment, from the people around us, but most importantly ourselves. And if we disconnect from ourselves, then we don't trust ourselves, we don't trust our environment, we don't trust the people around us. So even that, in that energy, how can you have purpose? It's hard to figure out your purpose if you don't even know who you are authentically are at the core, right? Because I didn't know what my purpose was until I actually did this work. But anyways, going back to, I hope this was helpful for you guys. I always like to give a little background as to who I am and why I'm here. So today's topic is all about how to get clarity around your purpose, right? And clarity gives you satisfaction plus purpose, right? When we have clarity, we're excited about things. We're looking forward to do things. Clarity it's like just gives you like this drive to do things, right? If we don't have clarity, we don't have passion, we don't have purpose. It's like if you get in your car and you don't put you want to go somewhere. Let's say you want to go somewhere, but you don't know where you want to go, and you get in your car and you don't tell the navigation system where you're going, you're just going to stay there, and you're going to stay stuck in that same situation, in that same spot, until you decide where it is that you want to go. And then you punch in the address, and then the navigation system takes you there, right? So it's the same thing for us, right? If we don't have clarity as to what our purpose is and what we want to do, then how can the universe co-create with us, and how can we even believe and trust and start taking action towards our purpose, our passion, and get there? We don't trust we're not going to do it, because if we don't know where we're going, we don't even know where to start. So the reason I talked a little bit about my background and talked about being clear is because a lot of times when we experience contrast, right? So the good thing about contrast, and contrast is really important in order for you to know what you want, you have to know what you don't want, right? So we experience a lot of dissatisfaction sometimes in our lives, and a lot of contrast that gives birth to new things, new ideas, if we look at it in an empowering way, right? So if we look at things in an empowering way, we can birth desires, birth passion, birth purpose from that. But a lot of times when we're in the midst of contrast, we get stuck, and we get stuck in a dissatisfaction, and we feel lost, we feel overwhelmed, which quite honestly, it's the complete opposite of clarity. So I think in those moments when you're feeling stuck, when you're feeling overwhelmed, when you're feeling dissatisfaction, instead of looking at it like it's the end of the world, it's good for us to really, really come at what we're feeling with a place of curiosity, and being like, why are we feeling this way, right? What is this trying to teach me? What is it that I'm supposed to learn from this?
On a scale of 1 to 5, would you give yourself a 5 on achieving what you want in life? If your answer is anything less than a 5, right now, I have something awesome for you. Achieving your goals and living your life at a 5 isn't easy. Most people aren't prepared to focus, stay disciplined, and do the everyday work that is necessary to achieve amazing results. But since you're watching this, then I'm guessing that you're not one of those people. And this is an opportunity that will change your life. Give to Get is a global program that brings together world-class coaching and combines it with empowering masterminds and networking opportunities. We provide 5-star guidance for the price of a cup of coffee a day. To find out more, click on the link in the description of this coaching session.
What is this showing me? What is this teaching me about myself, about my environment, about maybe where I would like to be? I think this is one of the most powerful things that we can do to get clarity on what it is that we would like our purpose to be. Because I believe, and even from my journey, is that when we hit those rock bottoms, that's when magic happens, when we can come up from that and look at it in an empowering way. So I hope that makes sense. So when we're in the midst of contrast, embrace it for what it is. It's a temporary discomfort that if you come at it from an empowered state and an empowered place of being, you're going to get clarity as to where it is that you want to go. One of my spiritual teachers, Abraham Hicks, clearly says, if you don't know what you want, then you do know what you want. So contrast is beautiful, because contrast will birth that desire for what you do want. The problem is we get stuck in this loop of just giving our attention to what's going wrong, instead of shifting that into something more empowering, and then creating from that space, and then putting our attention onto the things that we want. So I hope that makes sense. So your job is to process wherever you are from a place of curiosity. Remember that Be curious about it. Have fun with it. Don't judge yourself. Come from a place of love and compassion. Be grateful that you're experiencing this, because now you know this is something you don't want to experience, and now you can launch a whole rocket of desire from this place. And then what I want you to do is, from once you can get yourself from feeling unstuck, feeling when you're feeling dissatisfaction, feeling stuck, once you can get yourself to a place where you feel grounded and you're like, okay, what can I learn from this? What's the lesson? What's the blessing? What am I, what is it that I need to learn from this as a person, or whatever it is that you end up asking yourself? There's millions of questions that you can ask yourself. Once you get to this place where you're in that dissatisfaction and you're feeling stuck and you can look at it from that point of view, what I want you to do is to make a list of all the things that you're passionate about. Make a list of all the things that you would like to be doing. Make a list of all those things that light you up, and a good place to start is the things that light you up, the things that get you excited, the things that you enjoyed as a kid, will help you find your passion and where your creativity lays. Because I believe that those things that we like as children is a good sign of the things that we're meant to be doing. It may not be exactly what you were doing, but part of it, you can incorporate it into where your purpose is taking you, right? So I want you to start, once you make this list of the things that light you up, the things that bring out creativity within you, I want you to step into that feeling of creation, feeling of empowerment, feeling of, I've got this. I know things are always working out for me. I know that this situation is just making me grow, helping me grow, and expanding me and expanding my vision and getting me to where I want to be. So I want you to get in that feeling state of being grateful and for the situation, and just really being grounded and really knowing what your passion and your creativity is. So make that list, make it really clear, allow yourself to dream, allow yourself to write down the things that really light you up. And then from that state, I want you to ask yourself these questions. These are more questions for you to ask for, because this is what it is. A lot of times we resist things because we don't want to process them. We don't want to look at them. But our job is, when we're feeling anything, to get curious about it and actually take the time to process it, because that's how we're going to get answers, and that's how we're going to be able to resolve things. So I want you to ask yourself 3 empowering questions, actually 4. So once you've allowed yourself to dream, once you've set up what what the things that light you up, that set you up on fire, and once you've allowed to allow yourself to dream of where you would like to be, I want you to ask yourself, what will my perfect day look like? Like, if money was an issue, if time wasn't an issue, if life wasn't an issue, your health, whatever it is that you're struggling with, if that wasn't an issue, what would a perfect day look like? Allow yourself to really sink into those feelings. Write them down, journal it out, let yourself dream. I mean, one of the things I say is, if you can put classical music, spa music, whatever gets you into that tone, and light up a candle, turn on some incense, do something to get you in that creative mood and to get you centered. So what would your perfect day look like? Just journal it out, from morning to night. My morning will look like this. My afternoon will look like that. I will take a break. I will do this for lunch. I'll cook this for dinner. I'll pick up my kids. I'll spend time creating with them. For me as coaching, I'll be coaching 3-4 people per day, then working on my book, whatever that is. Allow yourself to dream it, right? Because if you can dream it, you can be it. And this will help you propel you to that state that you want to be in. Then the second question is, what will my future self look like? What will my future self look like? I want you to really think about this. What does this person look like? How does she talk? How does she walk? How does she, how does she show up in the world? What are the qualities that she's going to embody? Is she going to show unconditional love? Is she going to show up with love, with compassion? Is she going to show up, with strength and courage? And how is it that you want to show up in the world? Because that's going to be different for everybody. But really find out what that future self that you can envision yourself, looks like. How does that person look like for you? Like for me, when I did this exercise, I was like, I'm going to feel empowered. I'm going to show up in the world by having an open heart, being unconditional, unconditional towards myself, towards everybody. I'm going to have compassion. I'm going to really elevate people. My goal is to everybody that comes into my awareness, whether it's through Facebook, whether it's through a social media post, whether it's going through the supermarket, whether it's we cross paths. My job is to leave you feeling a little bit more inspired than you did before you met me, whether that is that you walk by me and I offer you a smile, I wave at you, I acknowledge you, I validate that you're there in front of me. To me, that was like what I wanted to show up. I wanted to show up in the world as someone who's grounded in who she is and her authenticity and her true, and being of service to others, whether it's just offering a smile or a simple post. So figure out what that is for you, right? And then another question is, how do I want to grow? I think this is really important because this is going to help you get even more clear into what you would like to do. How is it that you want to grow as a person, as a wife, as a husband, as a father, as a friend, as a brother, as a sister, as whatever it is that you consider yourself, whatever role it's important to you. How do you want to grow in those areas in your business, whatever feels right to you? How do you want to grow? For me, again, just to give you guys a little bit of feedback. So when you're doing this exercises, I wanted to grow myself spiritually. I wanted to grow myself, grow my business, right? So I wanted to grow myself so I could grow my business. I wanted to grow as a mom, as a person, as a human. I wanted to evolve so that I can radiate what I was initially looking for everybody to give to me. I wanted to show up and give it to them, right? So I wanted my cup to be so full that I wanted to make sure that I was giving myself those things that I was expecting other people to give to me. And then I can show up and give it to them. And the beauty about this was that when I started showing up like that, when I grew myself emotionally from this place, I showed up from a place that was really fulfilling. And I wasn't expecting anything from anybody else. So I released the tension and from everybody else to have to try to meet my needs. And crazy enough, that's when they started to meet my need, because there was no pressure anymore, right? It was more authentic, more flow, more heart to heart connections with people. But figure out how it is that you want to grow. That can look different for everybody. The other question is, if money, and I know I talked about this earlier about what will your perfect day look like, but if money or time wasn't an issue, what are the 5 things that you would like to do all day, every day? All day, every day. This will give you clarity around your passion. So if money or time wasn't an issue, what are the 5 things that you would do all day, every day? And I want you to really, when you're doing this, I want you to really connect to yourself and to what it is that feels right for you. I don't want you to second guess yourself. I don't want you to think about if it's possible or not. I want you to allow yourself to really dig deep into this. So once you've done that, like for me, the 5 things that I wanted to do every day was show up authentically, be a good mom, show up with an open heart, be of service to others, and show love and show compassion towards others. That's how I, and those were the things that I wanted to do. And that was from before, because I didn't tell you guys for the first one. So for this one, the 5 things that I wanted to do every day was coach people, elevate people through coaching, be around for my kids, was to grow myself, grow my business, and to have an impact a positive impact in my community and in the world. I have a real passion for elevating humanity, but really allowing yourself to go there. And then the next step that I want you to do, it's what skills, knowledge, and experiences or passions or talents do you currently possess that can help others? I think this is really important because anytime we're doing any kind of purpose work, it always involves giving back to humanity in some way, because that's what's going to really fulfill you. You're going to find that when you're doing your purpose work that is in alignment to your soul, it's going to be given back to humanity in some way, whether it is, cleaning a, maybe your goal is to clean a school, which is great. You're cleaning the school for the kids to come in and have a clean school, right? So sometimes we think it has to be this huge elaborate thing. No, if it lights you, if that's what you always wanted to do, honor that. And that is being of service to humanity. It's just owning whatever it is that you feel like you want to do. But once you get clear on the 5 things that you would like to do, I want you to just write down what skills, what knowledge, what experiences, what talents you currently have that can help others. And this is really, really important, because one of the basic human needs for us is the need for contribution. And by doing this, and you're going to feel connected to something bigger than you, and that's going to drive you and give you more purpose, right? So, and then what I want you to do is to start living your life like that in this present moment. I know this is one of the hardest things to do, because it was hard for me to oh my gosh, how I envision this person, I am this person, this is the person that I want to embody, this is how I got clarity around the things that I wanted to do. But how do I do this when my world looks different? Well, nothing's going to change if you don't shift your energy. And you have to, in order for things to change around you, you have to shift your energy. And the reason of doing all these exercises is to allow you to rise from that stuckness. Allow yourself to dream so you can have a vision, because if you don't have a vision, you don't have purpose. And that's how you're going to be able to move along and do the things that you want. So you have to allow yourself to do this. And then you have to show up every day as the person, show up as the future you, find out what qualities you want to embody, like all these exercises, and read this to yourself every day. Every day. I did this exercise. I did all of these exercises, and I kept it by my bedside. I would read them at night before I go to bed, like my perfect day, the 5 things that I would like to do, what skills I possess, and how I wanted to give back to humanity. And I read them every morning and every night so that I could remind myself how I wanted to show up in this world. Because when your energy changes, and I did this when I was struggling, I was going through a separation, my finances were falling apart, my marriage was falling apart, and I still was able to hold this space for myself and to trust in myself and what I wanted. And when I did this, and I stayed in that energy, and you know what? Everything started to shift for me, because nothing changes until you change. So I just want you to know that you have to show up with this energy. Once you allow yourself to create that vision, it doesn't happen tomorrow. It doesn't happen 5 years from now. You're going to pull yourself out of that energetic frequency and elevate that energy so that you can be at a place where you're in alignment to that, who you truly are. So I hope that makes sense. I hope you guys have enjoyed the training. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask.